This is one of the most exciting buildings in Australia. Behind these walls lies our first 6-star green-rated development. This building actually generates its own power. It recycles its own water and it breathes. So, let's go and have a look inside CH2. CH2, or Council House 2, is a visionary development by the City of Melbourne with the potential to change the way we approach ecologically sensitive design. Sustainable technologies have been incorporated into every corner of these 10 stories. On a tour with architect Mick Pearce, the contrast is noticeable as you step through the door.
Normally the light level is about 400 lux at working surface. Now we can get right down to about 150, and with task lights where we need the light, you create a sort of aura around each person or activity. And then where there's a meeting, you have a bigger light which lights up people's faces. That's like the campfire.
Looking to nature for inspiration, the inside of the building has a really organic feel. Mick described it as a cave with a waved ceiling serving a variety of purposes. The exposed concrete absorbs heat from the workers and the equipment and stores it until night time when the windows are open to flush out the day's heat and pollutants. Cooling is also done naturally, with fresh, cool air pumped in at floor level, pushing the hot air up and out through voids in the ceiling. For really hot days, further cooling's done with chilled panels in the ceiling and the shower towers outside, all using 100% recycled water. One of the first things you'll notice about this building is the lack of treated surfaces. Most paints and estepols contain VOCs, volatile organic compounds, and these actually release gases into the air that are unhealthy for us. You think of the smell of fresh paint or like hopping into a new car. Now, when these compounds are released into the atmosphere, we breathe them in, and they're not very good for our health. So by not having treated surfaces, it's massively helpful for the staff who work here. The council are expecting to save over $1 million a year in reduced sick leave and increased productivity, and that's before energy savings are taken into account. And most of the energy comes from an elaborate generation network on the roof. There's a gas-powered plant, panels to harness the sun's energy, and wind turbines which have converted washing machine motors at their heart. It's expected that this will reduce energy consumption by a massive 85%. While a lot of the design features have a practical use, they are also aesthetically stunning. David Wong has carried this through to his design for the garden. With the entire exterior as his palette, he's borrowed from Eastern design principles.
Any garden must have two elements. One is the mountain and the other is the river. Now, being on the rooftop, it's very hard to source these materials. We introduced that through landscape materials such as these two rock flitch sculptures, and then the river pebbles that surround it basically echo water. Well, the idea is to have a positive green footprint for a building like this in the heart of the city that can actually produce enough oxygen to counter its use of oxygen, I think is a very positive step.
This development also creates its own recycled water by drawing from the city sewers.
We're pumping about 120,000 litres out of the main sewer in the street, and we're filtering it to a total pure water. We use it for all non-drinking purposes, that is cooling mainly, watering plants and flushing toilets. Then the excess water is used in the streets for street cleaning and for the city's fountains.
This landmark development has set new standards for sustainable office building. And it seems humans are not the only ones benefiting from this healthy environment. Weeks after opening, frogs were discovered living in the plants.
Luckily they survived, and they've actually gone to the zoo, which brings me to the idea that really I wish our cities could be as good as our zoos. Our zoos are run by people now who know more about the genetic origins, the physiology of the animals they keep than possibly the architects and the engineers know about the human animal.